That brings us to the Class AA, Lancaster and Orchard Park. They locked horns for the second time this season. And disastrous first half for both teams in terms of the turnovers. But that second half was pretty exciting, and Lancaster ends up coming out on top. That Ethan Jerkowski was phenomenal, and to me, the player of the game. But how about Nick Castellana? Caught a couple of nice passes there for touchdown. He was excellent, and Manziel got his game going in the second half. But the first half wasn't really a good half for either offenses. A lot of turnovers and things of that nature. But Lancaster does pull it out, and Eric Rupp is now 4 for 4 at New Era Field. And to start the game, like he had been for I don't know how many weeks, he's been up in the booth with the cameras calling plays from the press box. Well, he was for the first half, but he came down for the second half, and he had a totally different kind of energy than I've seen in quite some time. He was up and down the field, jumping, doing breakdance and whatever else he was doing. But he really inspired those kids, and they were the better team in the second half.
Yeah, and in the first half, Orchard Park had to, in the first half, been in Lancaster territory 6 times, if not 7 times, and they got 3 points in the half. They could not handle the front 7 of Lancaster, and to me that was the difference in the game. And then if you take Sean Davis and return him the kickoff for a touchdown, that was the momentum change,
yes.
The game changer. And you take a look at it, the first half did not look like a championship game. Neither team played well. The second half, Lancaster did what they needed to do.
Connor Mahoney and Matt Marshner had excellent games as well for Lancaster. I want to make sure I mention those guys. And what an electric locker room after. Those guys were extremely excited to win because they had just lost Orchard Park a few weeks before. So Lancaster's moving on, and they're going to play McQuaid Jesuit, who has beaten Aquinas twice this year. They just beat him 30-27, and earlier in the year they beat him 27-21. But they also beat Pittsford twice. They beat James Monroe twice. This is a very, very good team. If anyone's unfamiliar with Section 5, it's usually Aquinas, and every now and again McQuaid sneaks in there. And they're good, and they're extremely young, though. McQuaid is extremely young, and I wish I had names to give you of who to look out for. But people talk about WNY Athletics website. I can't find this, I can't find that. Well, you can't find anything on Section 5 website with these kids and these players. You can see rosters, but you don't see stats. We've got all that stuff on WNY Athletics for Section 6 players. I think our website's pretty good compared to these other ones. I got to try looking for players' names and numbers and stuff.
And McQuaid beat Aquinas, I think, for the first time since 1998 because they've dominated, the Little Irish. But the good thing about, the Legends playing McQuaid, to me, is they're not playing Aquinas. Because Aquinas can get into you just knowing what type of physical play talent they have. And they can't afford turnovers, they can't afford the penalties, and they've got to be able to convert third downs to be able to control the ball. But they got a shot, but they're going to have to play their A game.
2 years ago, we went 5-0 in the Far West Regionals. I don't know if we can do that again. It'd be wonderful if we can. We're obviously pulling for our Section 6 teams to do well. And, of course, Monsignor Martin, I don't know who you want to pick in that game because it's going to be a good one. You just hope for good games. You just hope for good games and everyone comes out healthy. Dick, I like our chances this weekend against 5. I do. Up and down. I think all 5 of our teams can win this weekend.
I agree. In the 80s, Section 5 dominated us. This decade, we've turned it around, and for whatever reason. But I'd love to see 5-0 or 4-1. But I really think that we have 3 teams that should be favorites to going in. The other 2 are going to have to play their A game to win.
Yeah, I mean, you can't take any plays off at this point. You got to protect the football. That's what it comes down to. But let's see what happens. I mean, all these games are at Brockport, State College at Brockport, and Brockport, New York, just about an hour away from Western New York. So if you can get down there, I believe tickets are $7 to get in. But if you can't make it, if you search the NFHS Network and search WNY Athletics, that's us, you could subscribe to the NFHS Network. If you're going to subscribe to NFHS Network and you haven't done so, I encourage you to go to NFHS Network, search out WNY Athletics, and then hit subscribe from there. And you'll get alerted to the games you want to follow. If you want to follow Lancaster, after you subscribe, search for the schools you want, and you'll get notified whenever they do a broadcast. But you can watch any game on NFHS Network that's being done right now. They will have all the games from Brockport all the way through Syracuse, the Carrier Dome. And the subscription is good for a month. If you don't want to do that, if you're not going to do that and you're not going to travel and you just want the audio, Mixler.com, search for WNY Athletics. That's a free subscription there. And thank our sponsors for advertising with us. That gives us the opportunity to do those games on Mixler.